The U.S. military is moving ahead with policies for integrating transgender soldiers into the armed forces. Why is the question? Is it politically driven social engineering, or will it make our military more effective in fighting foreign wars? We'll debate it with a former member of the Obama administration next. Late in his second term, President Obama implemented new policies allowing transgender individuals to serve openly in the military. Secretary of Defense James Mattis has not reversed that policy, though he has delayed allowing transgender individuals to enlist by an extra 6 months so the military can prepare. How is the military preparing? Well, they've drafted new training manuals, which, among many other things, tell female soldiers they should, quote, accept seeing naked men in the shower. Is all this making our country safer? Patrick Granfield was an Obama national security appointee and a speechwriter for Secretary of Defense Ash Carter, and he joins us tonight. Patrick, thanks for coming on.
Tucker, thank you for saving the simplest issue for the last of the week, right into the weekend.
I think it may be the simplest issue tonight, because, I mean, all changes to military policy ought to answer one question. Does it make the country safer or not? How does this make our country safer?
So, Tucker, I think you're right. And when I worked directly with Secretary Ash Carter on a number of personnel reforms, whether it was the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, whether it was women in combat, or whether it was transgender service, the question was always, does this make our force more effective? And, you know, Ash Carter, he's a physicist. He wants the data. He wants the facts. He's not an ideologue. And neither is General Mattis, who's the Secretary of Defense. And so that's how we approach these questions, but also in mind that we have the finest fighting force the world
I'm sorry,
has ever known.
I got to stop you there. First of all, he's a coward. He's a coward who should have resigned when asked to do this, because in no sense, with the data you described or not, does this make the country safer. And if you can prove otherwise, the floor is open to you. How does this make America safer?
So, Tucker, you know, we have to concentrate on the threats of today and making sure that our force is ready and able to fight and win our nation's wars. That's the mission. But at the same time, we have to look to the strategic horizon and make sure that we recruit from the broadest possible pool of America's best. We have an all-volunteer force. We have to draft, or we have to recruit from a number of different communities throughout the country. And in the past, you've seen how the military has expanded to different ethnicities, to different races, to women in combat now.
You're not answering the question. I mean, what you're saying is this is a massive social program designed to affirm different communities because they put political pressure on the White House to do that. That's fine. But the Pentagon ought to be only concerned with winning wars and securing our safety. And how does this advance that in any way? Can you just give me make me feel better?
The way that the country wins wars is that we have a military that constitutes America's best, that reflects America, where people want to serve. And we've seen how the Army has changed from the Revolutionary War. It's changed in a lot of ways in terms of who it recruits, who it attracts. And still, we have the finest fighting force the world has ever known. And part of that is that we need to continue to make that true.
Okay, but these are just slogans. Look, the military, the Army is now saying that female soldiers have to, quote, get used to and are not allowed to complain about seeing naked men in the shower, because if you self-identify without undergoing any physical changes whatsoever as transgender, the military has to accept your gender designation. If you say you're a woman, you're a woman, you're treated as one, and other women have to just deal with it. And my question is, whatever you think of that, how does that help, for example, the war in Afghanistan?
Well, right now there are between 3,000 and 9,000 individuals who are transgender currently serving in the military. And they serve with excellence. They serve with pride. They serve with dignity. And these are the people who, despite all sorts of obstacles, despite all sorts of prejudice, they want to serve their country. And it's their courage, it's their commitment to their country, not their gender identity.
I'm not attacking them. No, you're totally missing it. I'm not attacking them at all. And I admire anyone who wants to serve the country. Mm-hmm. But the question is the country best served by this policy? It's not about empowering individuals. It's about safeguarding the country.
No, you're right.
And so I don't see how this achieves that. And you don't either. You don't have an answer, because you know this is a political sop to an interest group that the administration was afraid of. Nobody called them on it because everyone was too embarrassed, didn't want to be called a bigot or something. And so we all just sort of sit there and like, what? But nobody said anything.
Well, Tucker, I'm not calling you a bigot or anything like
this.
that. Well, the Rand Corporation
I don't think you
did
are,
the study.
but I'm calling. And the study is that this is going to help us win the war in Afghanistan, because how?
The Rand Corporation is on the West Coast. It's pretty conservative, and they said that this would have minimal impacts on readiness. So it's not like you have a group of
minimal.
Then
you just answered my question. You just answered my question. It has minimal impact. So that's the standard. As long as it has no. Shouldn't every decision make it a more effective fighting force for the sake of the country it protects? This does not do that. It wasn't made with that question in mind. It was made for other reasons. Well, and that's why Tucker, you guys all should have resigned when they made you do this.
Well, then should Secretary Mattis resign that he's continuing it? I don't think so. Secretary Mattis came up with a 6-month. He took a 6-month delay to make sure that the policies are right and that we get the training right, and so that our military can continue to serve and defend this country.
Patrick, thank you for the game attempt. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tucker.